Once I realized that a belief is just something you think over and over and over and over again, that sometimes that becomes true to you, right? And so I realized, holy cow, this has been the story of my life. Not good enough, not good enough. When am I going to end this story and start a really good one?
Hello, and welcome to the PSI Podcast, a podcast for you to explore where a life lived with purpose meets transformation. Each week, we will bring you powerful insights, inspiring stories, and real-world tools for you to break through your limitations, unlock your potential, and live the life you are meant to. I'm your host, Tim Bowen.
And I am your co-host, Mackenzie O'Kelly. For more than 50 years, PSI seminars and PSI World have helped thousands of people create the life they deserve to live. And now, it's your turn.
Well, welcome back to the PSI Seminars podcast. Today we are joined by, once again, Alison Bechtel Clark, who is a facilitator for our Women's Leadership Seminar, as well as a successful entrepreneur, a mother, a spouse, just an all-around amazing human. And as always, we've also got Mackenzie O'Kelly, and I am Tim Bowen. So today with Alison, we are going to be talking about alignment, and specifically purposeful alignment. So this is part one of a 4-part series. And with that, Alison, why don't you let us jump right in? Take it away.
It was so fun. So a week or two ago, I don't remember how long it was, I got to teach this topic to a group of PSI. Some of them are grads, some of them weren't. And it was so fun because alignment, I find, is something that people oftentimes, when I'm working with them, they find it to be like this elusive thing that is like not tangible for them. They don't know how to put all the pieces in place. And I think it's something a lot of people really struggle with is, how do you know when you're in alignment? Because I know there's been times for me in life where I'm like, okay, I'm dialed in, I'm going after this thing, everything's totally great. And then suddenly it's not great at all. And the situation I thought I was getting into is not the situation I'm in. It's like night and day, right? And so, so taking those experiences from the past of thinking I was in and I wasn't in was, how the heck do I get myself to a place where I know that I know? I'm solid and grounded in, yes, this is the path and I'm moving forward, and not in a frantic way or thinking I have to rush for fear of it's going to slip away out of my hands, but more of a, okay, I am who I am, I know where I'm going, and this is the path I chose. And so I wanted to take a deeper dive into that because the greatest gift, in my opinion, that I've received from going through the PSI seminars classes and being around so many incredible graduates over all these years has been that now I have a really deep understanding of me. And the more that you get to know yourself, that you truly understand who you are, what you want, where you're going, and why, that's when I find people feel most empowered to actually do the thing they've always wanted to do. Right? I can remember the first time that I ever did a presentation in front of a group of strangers. And holy cow, was I scared. I could easily talk to, I had a large company at the time. I could talk to 400 people that I knew, no problem. But 5 people I'd never met, my hands were super sweaty. I was so nervous. My voice was shaking. It's like you would have thought that I'd never spoken a word before. And it was the most nerve-wracking thing ever for me because I was scared out of my mind, right? Just totally freaked out. And so I realized in that moment, I was not a master of me at all. I was allowing the fear of, what other people are going to think, they're going to judge me, they're going to da-da-da-da-da-da. All of that was running in my head the whole time while something was coming out of my mouth. I'm not even sure what it was anymore, but it's how do you get yourself to a place to where you are doing things for you because you choose to from a place of power? And I say all this because a lot of times people go to personal development classes because they want to get answers. right? Like, how come I do this all the time? Why do I do this all the time? And how come this person over there does so and so? Right, Mackenzie?
Yeah, like the fix me, like I'm gonna come to this class and I'm gonna come out and you are gonna, get your magic wand and I'm just gonna be healed at the other end.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, well, it's funny that you say that because it's like, yes, I think a lot of us go to classes for answers, and yet, like, I know I didn't even know what the questions were, right? So
yes,
it's like, where do
Point.
that's a great point. Totally. And I think most people live their life like that. Like they're asking, thinking about what's wrong without knowing what questions to ask. And so they go ask an expert and say, tell me what I should do. And the truth is, like, no one has your answers. Only you do. And that's part of the hard part about it, is that it actually takes effort and work to be able to figure yourself out.
Well, and I think too, my experience is like also the expectation of what they think they should do versus what you're talking about is like making a choice from my power and it's my choice versus I'm looking for answers to things I should be looking for answers to versus like, what do I want?
Totally. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times in my business career I've had an issue or a problem and I'm like, okay, who can I call right now who can tell me exactly what I should do because it worked for them? And then I do the thing that they said to do because it worked for them, and it did not work for me. Because it wasn't my answer, it was their answer. Right? And I think that's spot on, Mackenzie, because I think people do that all the time because it feels easy, right? Clearly, if it worked for them, it's obviously going to work for me. And that's not always the case. And so the hard part that I noticed is that, it does take a commitment. I mean, I took the basic seminar in 2009 and have been involved in it ever since because I'm still evolving. Like, I know me really well now, but I know there's more layers still. Like, I still have a lot of work to do. And that's really like where the rubber meets the road of getting into alignment. Is the first thing you got to work on is yourself.
We had an experience. We did an advanced course recently, and it was funny to see some of the graduates come back and go, I thought I fixed it. I thought I got over this in the basic or size 7 or LS or anything. And we're like, it doesn't just go away. Like, you have to consistently and consciously keep digging and keep going. Like, we don't arrive anywhere. Like, it's not just a, like we said, like the fix thing. And so I think to keep doing the work and keep learning about yourself, because we change all the time. Like, that's a huge point.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think part of the challenge of what I've noticed from people I've been working with through coaching is they're not clear on what they want. And clarity is really the very first thing to think about, because if you're not clear on what you want and you're allowing something to stop you, you're completely out of alignment. Right? And I think that's where a lot of us live.
Yeah, so for alignment, it's like you get clear on what you want first, and then you align your thoughts, beliefs, actions, everything else behind that.
Yeah, but sometimes it's really just being honest with yourself about what you actually want. Right? Like I know a lot of people who
I was saying, so it's not like buying into somebody else's expectations of what I'm supposed to want, what I'm supposed to have. This is what life is supposed to look like, but it's like tapping. So how do you get there? How do you tap into really being truthful with yourself?
Well, it takes practice, as does all this work, right? And so taking I have people do a simple exercise that really helps to illuminate a few things for people. And so whoever's listening, this is for you. Go ahead and do it while you're here listening, okay? Is to take out a piece of paper. And I know people love to type and write on their phone, but honestly, your brain takes in more when you use pen to paper or pencil to paper, whatever works for you. But write out, what are at least 3 things that you really, really want? Really want. And be as specific as possible. If you want a new car, what kind of car is it? What color is it? What color is the interior? Do you have leather seats? Does it have a sunroof? Right? What does that look like? If you want to go on vacation, where are you going to go? Who's going to go with you on this trip? Right? What are you going to wear on the airplane? Like, really start to narrow it down so that you can start to see a picture of what you want. And I find a lot of times some people will start to do this. They'll write things out, and the longer the list gets, the more they realize that a lot of these things aren't their things. There's someone else's thing that someone else wants, or someone else wants for them. Right? Like, I have a woman I worked with whose family always expected her to be a doctor. And so she went to school and did all the things. And then she was like, screw this. I don't want to do this. I want something completely different. But it took years of going through and living out someone else's expectations before realizing this isn't my dream. Okay? And so that sometimes is the hardest part. And there literally has been people who I've done this with, and it takes them 20 minutes to write down one thing because they stopped dreaming and stopped thinking about what they want because it's about everybody else.
Yeah, well, Thomas Wilhite, the co-founder of Sci Seminars, he would say, when you stop dreaming, you start dying.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I think it's interesting, like, as you're saying this, starting to think for myself of like, I can see how this really gets you clear on like what your values are, like what you care about. Like, is work not even on there? Okay, but we spend most of our time working. When on this list, I have experiences, I have people, I have family, I have this, and yet to look at like, where am I spending my time? And if it doesn't match, then it's like, oh, well, no wonder things don't feel quite right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If everyone starts to like write that list, it really can start to trigger in your mind, especially when you're out and about in the world and you're wandering around and you see something, go, oh, maybe I want to add that to my list. And so your list of wants could become a maybe, and then maybe that desire starts to build. Or maybe you meet someone who has a really interesting career that you'd never considered before. And you go, they're really cool. Maybe I should think about that. Or maybe I want to do something else. But it's opening up the window of possibilities instead of cutting it off and going, that's not possible because I'm on this path and this is the only path that I'm allowed to take right now. The other thing I have everyone do is after you write down what you want, now you're going to write down on the other side of the paper, what's the reason why you don't have the thing that you wrote down. So if you wanted a brand new shiny Porsche with a red with a sunroof and all the fun stuff to let your hair blow around, that's awesome. And so now you're going to list the reason why. And for some people, it's, I don't have the money. I don't really have the time to enjoy it. My kids are too little. I can't put them in the car. Like, all those types of things come up. And what I think you'll notice is if you do this for those 3 to maybe 5 things that you want and write down your reasons, you're going to notice a pattern. And so the one of the first times that I did this for myself, I remember looking at my list and going, dang it. It says, I don't have the time. I don't really have, I don't want to spend that kind of money on that thing. I don't really want to do that. But the real root underneath all of it was that I didn't think I was good enough. And so all the reasons I gave were my excuses to be able to just like step down, to bow out. I didn't want to take a stand or speak up or be the person who, came out and said the thing that everybody knew was already there. I wanted someone else to take care of it. They're better than me. They're more experienced. I'll just let them handle it. So it was a total avoidance of really looking at who I was.
Well, so how did you kind of cross that gap from having your list of excuses to discovering that it was really more of a belief about yourself?
Well, first of all, I had to realize that it was a belief. Right? And so that was the first thing, was like, no, this is what was true for me. It's true. People say all the time, it's true. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. Okay, that's great. And there's a possibility you can move through that. And so once I realized that a belief is just something you think over and over and over and over again, that sometimes that becomes true to you. Right. And so I realized, holy cow, this has been the story of my life. Not good enough, not good enough. When am I going to end this story and start a really good one? And so that was a purposeful decision that I made. And that was what led me to do that presentation that scared the holy crap out of me. I was like, how can I take a baby step to get something moving forward that I have a different experience of me, even though I'm scared to death? And it helps.
And something that I just thought of that you did, you worked with someone on the learning lab and thinking about the things that we want and the specific and the picture, and something that you gave great feedback on was like the value of talking about what it is that you do want versus you don't want. Like, can you give us a little line about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's important to know the things that you don't want in life. Sure. Yet the moment you start to dwell on those, you start to create them. So if there's something that you really want, that's why I tell people to get as clear as possible what the picture actually looks like. And so if you were to, like, if you think about, oh my gosh, I want this thing, right? We're just going to stick with the car. Okay. I want a new car. 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 And then if all you do is you go, I want a new car, and you put it off to the side and you don't think about it, or you don't spend the time to really visualize you in the car, are you really thinking about getting the car? Or is it more just that's for someone else? Right? That'd be probably me going back to I'm not good enough, so I'm not going to think about it because I'm not going to get it. And so turning it into a positive of if your thought process is, I don't have it because I don't have the money, then how do you flip that to, what do you have to do to be able to create that income to go get what you want?
How would you actually define alignment then, Alison?
To me, what's important about alignment is really about clarity and purpose, and that leads to fulfillment. And so when you're clear what you want, and you know like what the purpose is for where you're going, that's going to bring you fulfillment inside. So that way it's kind of like start to finish, like it starts in your head, like getting really clear, but at the end, clarity alignment is like that internal integral connectedness of, yes, this is me. Yes, this is what I want. And this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Ooh, that is just such a powerful way. We have goals, we have things that we want, blah, blah, blah. But this is like so much bigger. Like you're talking about your integral alignment with your purpose and fulfillment. Like I want that.
I know.
Sounds great.
Well, because here's the thing, you can create really great results when you're in alignment. And when you're not in alignment, it's a struggle, right? It's challenging. It's hard work. It's draining, and it sucks your energy dry. And so when you're able to find that space for you that is clear and aligned, you're going to move mountains.
Well, that actually leads right in, and I think maybe you just answered it, but I want to present this question anyway. So one of our participants asked the question, and I'm going to read it here. What's the difference between chasing success and living purposeful alignment? How can I tell which one I'm doing?
Yeah, that's very similar to what we just talked about. So chasing success, I've been there before. And so it's tiring. It's very tiring because, like I said earlier, a lot of times the chasing success is more you're chasing other people's successes to hope that they fit for you, right? It's like there's a giant puzzle piece out there. There's all these different puzzle pieces everywhere, and you're picking them up and going, does this one fit? No. Does this one fit? No. Does this one fit? No. Well, which one's mine? Right? And it's exhausting to try to keep running and find the pieces that work for you instead of taking the time to slow down and go, what does work for me? Like who are the people and the circumstances that I need to be around such that I can create what I'm looking to create instead of making it frantic movement?
Because it's possible for people to be extremely successful and be out of alignment.
All the time.
You can have all the money in the world, successful businesses, loving families, multiple houses, all these things, like this list of things that you want, the shiny car, the vacations. You can have all of those things and yet still be out of alignment, right? So it's about getting, like you were saying, getting to the core of what I really want, what's important to me, what are my values, all of that. Well, do you have anything else here for part 1, Allison?
I think that actually finishes up part 1 and moves us right into our next piece. So we can take a break.
All right, awesome. Well, then thank you, Allison. That was amazing. Thank you, Mackenzie. Thank you, Tim. You're welcome. All right,
Thank
we'll
you,
see
Tim.
you. We'll see y'all for part 2.
Thank you for joining us today for the PSI Podcast.
If today's conversation sparks something for you, don't let it stop here. Share this episode with someone who's ready for their next breakthrough, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an opportunity to grow. I'm Tim Bowen.
And I'm Mackenzie O'Kelly. Until next time.